Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to sage Narada and all other sages and saints, and to each of you divine soul watching today's satsang. So today we will be covering part number 4 of Sutra 38 from the Narada Bhakti Sutras, chapter 2, Glory of Supreme Devotion. Commentaries by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So we have been talking about grace in this whole sutra, about the 4 kinds of kripa, and yesterday we covered the argument of why God divine grace is so important. Today we are covering the part number 4, which is a flavor or a favor of the blend of self-effort and grace. So basically saying that both are needed. Grace is needed and self-effort is needed. And this, of course, is a more practical view. It makes a lot of sense. An aspirant is asked to exercise his self-effort without becoming egoistic, and to seek divine grace without turning to inertia or laziness. So pray for divine grace and continue your self-effort. So this is, from these concepts, this seems to be the most logical way to pursue our holy path. As long as an aspirant is steeped in ignorance, he needs to be awakened from the state of laziness and inertia by being inspired to exercise his self-effort. So initially it will take a lot of self-effort for us to convince ourselves that this is the right path. But as the aspirant advances, he begins to discover the fact that the higher self in him is as if urging him to advance on the spiritual path. He starts enjoying it, in other words. Therefore, self-effort leads to grace, and grace intensifies his self-effort. So it becomes complementary and supplementary in a way. This process continues until he sees his personal effort merging into the ocean of divine grace. And that's the benefit of adapting this approach. So by studying these different views, an aspirant begins to clearly understand that they are not contradictory to each other. These different views are adapted only to help aspirants in their different states of spiritual evolution. So an aspirant can fully understand that he has to do his self-effort, and there has to be a component of divine grace. Now we can split it up any which way we want, but without God's grace, nothing becomes possible, and then we need His grace to do our self-effort. We cannot just sleep and think that God will make it happen for us. We have to put in our effort, and that is through the God within us. So there is a higher God in the consciousness, which is called the Supreme Brahman. Then there is a God within you that is called your consciousness, your Atma. And therefore both these gods are needed. When the God inside is working, it's called our self-effort, and when the grace of God upstairs is bestowing upon us all these abilities, and His by giving us a congenial atmosphere, by giving us the right guru, by the right scriptures coming to our attention, and so on, all that is divine grace. So both are required, and I hope you are enjoying these profound sutras and their mystical deeper implications. Tomorrow we will pick up part number 5 of the same sutra, sutra number 38, and that talks about the importance of a Sadguru, a holy preceptor, and then the role of satsanga with such a Sadguru. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.